Welcome to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Adjemi Financial Strategies in Guilford, Connecticut and Denver, Colorado.
After one of my Social Security workshops that I did, a woman asked the question, Andrew, what is, you mentioned that that sometimes we can collect money because from our ex-spouse's Social Security. And could you tell me more about that? And I said, yes, Pat, indeed. What happens is if you've been married for 10 years or more and then divorced, that it's possible that you could collect on your ex-husband's Social Security. You could collect the spousal benefit on that, which is generally speaking 50% of the FRA amount, while you're still working. And Pat was flabbergasted by that because she was a woman that had been divorced, was working a job, and it wasn't enough income for her. She was having a difficult time making it. And when we looked at the situation and she called Social Security, she was able to start collecting $800 a month more than what she was earning at her job without any penalties. Of course, she paid taxes on it, but it was $800 a month more of income. She loved me after I was able to tell her that, give her that information. I'm Andrew Adjemi.
And I'm Daniel Adjemi, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Our topic today is the three-legged stool of retirement, and we're excited to bring some ideas to especially retirees, but people who are serious about their retirement to help them make smart decisions in retirement. AAA, that's fantastic. I love when you're able to give people from your years and years of experience how they can do practical things to help them increase the amount of money that they paid into the system, right? They paid into the system, or someone paid into the system, and if they are eligible to receive some of those benefits, well, they better receive it. And if they don't know about it, how are they going to do that?
Right, exactly. And that's the whole thing. That's why we have financial strategies, because people don't know what people don't know. And as a result of that, they can't make decisions if they don't have the information that they need to make smart and wise decisions. So we're you and our listening audience, we want you to understand these things. In the case of Pat, the rest of the story, so to speak, as Paul Harvey would say, is that she, in that situation, when she's collecting from as part of her ex-spouse's Social Security, it does not affect her ex-spouse. And the ex-spouse doesn't even know that she's receiving that money from that standpoint. So there's a lot of ins and outs of Social Security. And I encourage you to check out our website at agemi.com, agemy.com, for more on Social Security. We have some webinars that are recorded on there for you to be able to listen to. But Dan, before break, you were saying, hey, AAA, what are some of those things that people say to you? Hey, I didn't know that was a thing. Well,
let's give the people what they want.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that people don't know that is a thing, that when you retire, or excuse me, when especially on married people, that or it could even be somebody's been divorced but had been married for 10 years, at the death of the first spouse, the smaller Social Security goes away, and then you get the larger Social Security. So if you happen to be married and one spouse is getting $1,000 a month, the other spouse is getting $2,000 a month, and the spouse that gets $2,000 a month passes away, well, the $1,000 a month goes away, and the surviving spouse gets the $2,000 a month. And another thing that happens with that is that if same thing happens if you are divorced and your Social Security is $1,000 a month, and your ex-spouse is their Social Security is $2,000 a month, and they die, you'll get $2,000 a month, even if they have remarried at that standpoint, because it's able to pass on to even ex-spouses if you have been married for 10 years. So there's a lot of ins and outs to Social Security. And when Daniel mentioned in the last segment about how there's over 500 ways of collecting Social Securities, this is some of the ideas behind it is all these different ins and outs in regard to that. It doesn't behoove people to wait any longer than 70 years old to take Social Security. Some people want to take it way before that because they don't know if they're going to live that long. That's fine. But some people want to wait until they're 70. Personally, I want to wait until I'm 70 to collect my Social Security, because what that's going to do is it's going to give a larger amount. So it doesn't matter if I die, my wife dies, whoever is the survivor is going to get the larger Social Security from that standpoint, which will be mine in my case. So there's a lot of different things. So a lot of people don't know that you can start and stop Social Security. Depending upon what's going on in your life, you might want to start it and collect it for a while, stop it, and then start it up again later. You also have the opportunity to collect it in the first 12 months. You could collect it, and then in month 11, whatever, you could pay back all those months, and it be just as if you had never taken it. So there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. Work history is important when you're talking about Social Security, as if there's any 0 years, because they're looking at the 35 highest years of earning monies. And if you have any zeros in there, that's going to affect what you receive in Social Security. I need to remind you and our listening audience, you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Today's topic is the three-legged stool of retirement. We're talking about Social Security as one of those legs, which creates about maybe 40% of the average person's income that they need in retirement. Pensions would be another leg, and then 401ks and personal savings that you've done from that angle. And today's piece that goes along with today's show is understanding and maximizing your Social Security benefits. So if you call 800-725-7616, we'll be glad to get that off to you. Understanding and maximizing your Social Security benefits. As we talk today and continuing talking about Social Security, there are a lot of different angles that you can that are involved with Social Security and getting the most bang for your buck. I mentioned a little bit earlier how you can we can do a Social Security, an analysis on your Social Security, give you an idea of how much that you'll be able to get over time. Especially helpful if you have been married for 10 years and divorced, or are currently married. That works well. The survivor benefit that is available to people when a spouse dies. If you're younger than Social Security age and your spouse passes away, depending upon the age bracket and who's at home as far as children or whatnot, you can collect the benefit at that point, and then switch over later on to your benefit from that angle. So there's a lot of different ins and outs of Social Security that can be used to your benefit. We encourage you to analyze that. If you want to have us help you with that Social Security analyzer that we have, that's fine. It's a proprietary software that we have available to us to be able to help you with that. And just let us know when you call 800-725-7616. But, another thing that I want to transition into here, Daniel, is talking about pensions. I'd like you to expound upon what we were talking about earlier, and how people, even though they may have a pension, the question is, how stable is that pension? We hear about a lot of states that have difficulties with their pensions these days and funding their pensions. And it's not just states, is it, Daniel?
Well, no, but just before we move on to pensions, that leg, we're focusing on this three-legged stool, and that Social Security leg. It's You need all your legs to be strong. If you have three weak, wiggly legs, the stool doesn't do you any good. If you have one weak, wiggly leg, you'll probably be okay. But that's because you have those other two strong legs. And so with Social Security, it's good right now, right? And it's good, but in 2035 is where we don't, that's that magical number where we're not really sure what happens. So you have to have a backup plan. You have to have other strong legs. And now we're to move on to that other leg, the pension leg. But don't think that, oh, my Social Security is got my back. You have to plan before events happen. So many times people will say, oh, well, should I buy health insurance now that I'm sick, or should I buy death insurance now that I'm dead? Right? That's a kind of a joke, but but you have to plan ahead. If you want, this happens in commodities, this happens with stocks, this happens with a lot of things where people, they don't want it when nobody wants it, right? Nobody wants it, and that's when you should buy it.
Yeah.
Right. And then when everybody has it and now it's expensive or impossible, flood insurance, that's a good one. Okay, there's a good, perfect example. Flood insurance, people don't want it when there's no floods, but then after a flood happens, everybody wants it, and it's the most expensive it's ever been. So you have to look at these things before it's an issue, because the insurance for that will be expensive when there is a problem.
Yeah, Daniel, that reminds me, in the life insurance industry, they have a little joke that they say, when somebody calls up the insurance agency and asks for life insurance, they ask the question, when was your heart attack? It's too late to get life insurance after you've had a heart attack, right? And that's usually when people think about it after there's been some kind of issue. But that's an excellent point. Well, Daniel, I see that it's time for us to be able to take a break, and I want to tell you and our listening audience, you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Today's topic is the three-legged stool of retirement. We're going to be back in a moment and talking about pensions and 401ks, personal savings, that kind of thing. If you have just turned in, we have a companion piece to go along with today's show, which is Understanding and Maximizing Social Security Benefits. And we also have a Social Security Analyzer available to you that if you want that, when you speak with the operator at 800-725-7616, let them know that you like the analyzer, free with no obligation, and we'll tell you what we need to be able to put that together for you. We're going to need some information on that, obviously, but you can get the Understanding and Maximizing Social Security Benefits as well, no obligation. And if you haven't been to our website, agemi.com, agemy.com, the two words AgeMy, spell our last name of Adjemi. Check it out. There's a lot of useful information on there, as well as previous radio shows and webinars and such that we've done, and videos that may be helpful to help you prepare for the future. So we'll be right back after this.
I'm David Scranton, founder of the Retirement Income Store. If you're in or near retirement, are you certain you have the right retirement plan in place? Do you want to help ensure your nest egg will last you all throughout retirement? Take our retirement review quiz and find out in 5 minutes or less if you're doing everything you can to achieve a more successful retirement.
Visit us online at agemy.com. That's agemy.com.